Hello, App Creators class. Here we have the virtual asynchronous activity for November 17th. It's activity 1.6, Bug Blasters. For this activity, you're going to need to have Schoology open to the activity 1.6 folder. You're going to need to have your PTLW or PLTW curriculum at mypltw.org, and we're going to need to go to the lesson 1, and then in the table of contents scroll down until you find activity 1.6 Bug Blasters. And then we're also going to have a tab with the MIT App Inventor, and we'll be loading an app from this Bug Blasters part of the Project Lead the Way website. Okay, going back to Schoology here. To start this activity, you're going to click on the link here where it says Activity 1.6 Instructions, start here. And that's going to give you this video instruction. So hopefully you've already figured that part out. The second link here is the attendance activity for all of these asynchronous activities that we are going to do. There's going to be a small attendance activity that you have to complete by 3 p.m. that day in order to be marked as present for the day of class. And if you open up that document, you can see that there's 3 questions here. What's another name for an error in program code? What's the difference between a warning and a compilation error in App Inventor? And why do programmers add comments to their code? You're going to find those answers in the curriculum here. As you scroll down here, you're going to read through this here, and so that's where you'll find your answers. One hint that you could use is remember that this is a web page, so you can search for answers as well. So if I look here, what's another name for an error in program code? If I go over here and just type Control F and then type in error, if I can spell it right, you can see that there's 10 of them here, and it'll highlight those, and you can use the up and down arrows here until you find the one that you're looking for. Okay, so once you have those 3 questions done, you're going to submit this so that you can be counted as absent for the day, or present for the day, not absent. If you don't turn it in, you'll be marked as absent. Once you have that done, then we're going to work on actually doing some debugging. So in order to do that, we're going to have to go back to the app or the Project Lead the Way up here at the top. Under Resources, there is a downloaded file here, or downloadable file, the Study Buddy FixMe file. You need to download that to your Chromebook, and then you need to import it into App Inventor. It works the same way as it does on the computers in the classroom, except that when you go to import project from my computer, you're going to be looking for it in your files section, in your downloads on the Chromebook itself. But everything else will work the same. It's just that the look of the window will be different, and you'll still be able to get it put up in here. So once you get done with those questions and then get this app uploaded into App Inventor, then you can continue with this video. But for right now, you need to hit pause on this video and wait until you have the Study Buddy FixMe loaded up in App Inventor. Okay, so you now have the Study Buddy app loaded up into App Inventor. You've gotten the attendance activity taken care of and everything. So now it's time to fix some bugs. On this app, or in this app, there are 10 errors that we need to fix. Most of them are in the blocks window, but there is one that is an error on the design screen here. If we look at this down here, next to the word dot size, we have a slider, and the slider is really small. You can see the picture there is really small, and that is because it has its width set to automatic. So it's going to set it to as small as it can here. And so what we need to do is we need to set this width, instead of it being automatic, we need to set it to a certain size. And let's make it 120 pixels. We'll click that and click OK. Now you can see that it was a little bit too big there, because now we can't see the edge. So then this is just a trial and error thing. So then we're going to come back here and let's try 100 pixels. And it still looks like it's off the edge there. So how about we'll try 90 pixels. And I think I had 90 or 95 last time I did this. There you go. You can see we have it's just right on the edge here. Now that's going to make this slider be a lot bigger, and there'll be room to slide it a lot easier. Also, I'm not real thrilled with the minimum value being 10 and the maximum value being 30. 10 is still a kind of a large dot. So I'm going to make this down to 2 as my minimum value. And if you want to make your dots bigger when you run this app, then you can set this as a larger maximum value if you want. But I'm just going to leave it at 30 for right here. So the only real error we had was that this slider was way too small to be usable. So we got to have that one error fixed. So now we're going to go over to the block screen. And on this block screen, they already have quite a bit of blocks in here for you. And we're not going to have to add a whole bunch of blocks here. We just need to fix what's here. So you can see that we have when the canvas one is touched, when canvas one is dragged, when the green button is clicked, the yellow button is clicked, the blue button is clicked, when the clear button is clicked, and down here we have when there's a picture button was clicked, and when the camera took a picture. Now there's an error, and at least one error in each one of these different blocks of code, all of these different events. So let's start off with the easiest ones, the color buttons over here. This says when the green button is clicked, we want to change the canvas paint color to yellow. That's probably not right. If we want to click the green button, we probably want it to paint in green. So we could take this green that's right here and put it up here if we want, or you could just click on the color itself and then find a green. It doesn't matter which green you choose out of these 4 that are here. And pick a green and put it in there. Click on it and it'll put that green color in there. The yellow button, same thing. When we have the yellow button, we don't want it to paint green, we want it to paint yellow. So once again, you can pick any of these 3 here. I'm going to pick the one in the middle. And then finally we have blue. It's going to color red. We don't want that. We want a blue color. So there's 3 errors right there fixed right away. Then right below that here, we have when the clear button is clicked, then we clear the canvas. But you notice that this is not in color here. That's because that block of code has been disabled. That means it won't run. It basically just skips over it. Disabling code blocks is a way of debugging your code. If you don't want something to run as you're testing it, you just right click on it and choose disable, and then it won't run. For example, if I didn't want this line of code here to run when I click the blue button, I could right click on it and then come down here and choose disable block, and you can see how it will then be dimmed out or grayed out just like that other one is. To enable it back again, you just have to right click, and you notice that the disable block command here has been turned into enable block. So that's what we have to do here. We have to right click where it says when canvas 1 or call canvas 1 clear, and go down and choose enable block to make it back in color. Okay, so then let's look at the ones on the left here. This one here, if you look at the comment, the question mark there, says this should draw a circle whenever the canvas is touched. The circle is at the XY location, and the radius should be equal to the size selected by the slider. Circle should be solid, which means they should be filled in with color. Okay, so remember that the center is supposed to be at the coordinates XY. Here we have our coordinates, our center X is at Y, and our center Y is at Y, but it's supposed to be at XY. So we need to click on this top Y here next to center X, and we get a drop-down menu, and we're going to choose X from that. So now it's XY. And they're also supposed to be filled in. This says filled false. So instead, we're going to change the false to true. Okay, so that will fix this block of code. When we drag, if we click on the comment there, the question mark, and it says, this event is triggered when the user drags their finger on the canvas to draw on it. The line that is drawn by the draw line starts at x1, y1, so that's the beginning point, and goes to x2, y2. So we want to have 2 points, a beginning point and an ending point. The line is drawn from pixel to pixel as the user moves their fingertip across, so technically this event is triggered over and over again as long as your fingertip is moving across the canvas. Okay. So if we look at this, it says call canvas 1 draw line. We're going from the previous point, our x and y, to our current point, x and y. Can you see anything that's wrong in this? If you said that in our previous point we're going from previous yx instead of xy, then you found it. So this one here has to be previous x or prev x. So we're going to click on our drop down, find the prev x in there, and click on it, and then the y1 coordinate has to be the prev y. Current x and current y are okay. And down here at the bottom, it says, when take picture click, when we want to take picture, or when we click the take picture button, we want the camera to take a picture. Well, there's nothing in here right now, so all we have to do is click on this and put it in there. Now when we click our button to take a picture, it will take a picture, and then after we take the picture, then we want to put this as our background. So then if we jump over here to the one on the right, it says after we take a picture, what do we want to do? We want to set the background equal to our image. The image here is the local variable that was created after we took the picture. When we take a picture, that picture is automatically given the name image so that we can use it in our app. And so it's going to say, take that image and make it the background. Okay, so there's one more error in here that isn't just something that's wrong, it's something that's missing. If I take a picture with my take picture button and then have it become the background, right now there's no way to get rid of that. Because if I hit the clear button, it's just going to clear the canvas, it's not going to clear the background. So in order to do that, I have to add a line of code in here in order for me to get that background back to the original one. So what I want to do is I want to get another set one canvas background image. So I'm going to come over here to the left hand side here, find my canvas 1, click on it, and then I'm going to find the set canvas 1 background image. Now we have a background color and a background image. Make sure that we set it to the same one that it was, background image, and I'm going to put that up in this code block right here underneath the set or call canvas1.clear. Now what do I want to set this to? I want to set this to the original image, the image of the cell that we have in there when the program first runs. Now if I click on this canvas here, and I can go down here and find my background image here is this one right here, the AC1_6_animal_cell.png. And so that's what I need to put in there. So in order to do that, if I go back to the block screen here, I need to somehow be able to write that in there. And so I'm going to use the text, go all the way up to the top of the text and get this blank text up here that we used before, put it in there, and then I have to write that in there. I have to write in the name of my image. Now if you don't remember, you can look down here in the corner down here and it has it. Now sometimes you can click on this enough, double click on it and get that, and then you can right click or choose Control C and copy it. And then you could just go up here, Control V to paste, but you have to remember to put in the .png at the end, because the whole thing has to be in there. Now, some people have trouble double clicking on that and getting it to highlight. If not, then you can just look at it here and then come over here and type it in. Either way. Now when we hit the clear button, it's going to get rid of all of our drawing stuff and reset the background back to that original animal cell, away from whatever we did with our picture. So those are the 10 errors that were in this app here. So you should be done with this. Now the next thing we have to do is we need to take our screenshots so that we can put that into our Google Doc for the that has the activities and the questions and things. So there's a little bit more code in here, so you might have some trouble getting it all in here in one screen, depending on how big your screen is. With the Chromebook, that's a little hard to do. So you might have to get inventive here, or just take more than one screenshot. Either way. Remember, you can also make the zoom up and down here. You don't want to make it so small, though, that you can't tell what the code blocks are. So once you do that, you're going to hit print screen on the Chromebook. That is the button at the top that looks like a box with some lines next to it. And then you're going to do your print screen, and then you'll open up that Google Doc that we have. And down here at the bottom, we have a print or a screenshot for the designer screen and a screen for the block screen. And you'll have to do that. And finally, there are some questions here that you need to do. The first one here is list steps for debugging code. And that comes right out of the curriculum here. Right at the very top, it says steps for debugging code. And we have this box here that has 1 through 8. And we have 1 through 8. And then we have some other questions here. What's incremental programming? We could do the same thing that we do on the attendance activity. Go up here and type in incremental. And looks like we have 7 of them. I'm on 7 of 7, so I probably don't want the last one. So here I'm on 1 and 2. So it says the first approach you should always use to develop your code incrementally to avoid errors. Don't know if it says anything else about that. So I might have to go down to the next one. Okay, so every time you add a comment, a component, a block or two, you can check the live app to make sure it's what you expect it to do. This incremental approach makes it easier for you to find bugs. So the incremental approach is to do it little bit by little bit, small step by small step, and testing it as you go, instead of doing the whole app and then test it and then not be sure where the errors came from. So if you only do a little piece and test it and something's wrong, then you know that the error is probably from that little piece that you just added. And you'd keep on debugging that little piece until it's the way you want it to be. And then you'd move on to the next piece and the next piece and so on and so forth. So that's what incremental programming is all about. And then you could do the rest of these. What are comments in the code used for? Enabling and disabling code I talked about. Collapsing a block, collapsing and expanding. I didn't talk about that, so you have to go back and look at the Project Lead the Way page there and look. And then it talks about the role of driver and navigator in paired programming. You're going to find that by watching the videos that we have down here near the bottom, where we have paired programming. We have the driver and the navigator, and it's going to tell you in this video here under paired programming what the driver does and what the navigator does. And then we have a student's perspective as well. So this video is only 1 minute and 20 seconds or 18 seconds. This one's 2 minutes and 28 seconds long. So they're not real long videos, but you need to watch those in order to get the answer to this last question here. Once you have it all done, then you need to make sure that you submit your attendance activity. submit the Google Doc that has your screenshots and the questions answered, and then upload the file. In the past couple of apps that we've done, I've noticed that some people are not getting their file uploaded correctly. Make sure that when you're doing this, that you first go to App Inventor, and then all the way at the top, go to Projects and Export Selected Project. And then when it shows up down here in the corner, make sure that you are looking for the name of that file, and it might have a parentheses after it. On this one, since we didn't change the name, if you upload this one, the A1 Study Buddy, that's going to be the original file before we made any changes. So if I export it again, or export it, you notice now it has a 1 there because I already have the FixMe. So I could go ahead and leave it as that, or I could give it a different name. But then the one that I wanted to download has to be the one with that 1 parenthesis on it. It'll always have the later time on it if you want to look at the timestamps on them as well. But you always want to look for the one with the highest number, or the one with the latest timestamp, and that's the one that you want to upload into Schoology. So that should get you through the activity for the day today. And don't forget, if you want to be present for this class, make sure you get that attendance activity done and turned in before 3 o'clock. Have fun finding the bugs.